The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Looking for the best pool supplies? Look no further than Dohany's Pool Supplies. With a history dating back to 1967, this family-owned business offers everything families need to keep their pools clean and sparkling, from chemicals to equipment. Plus, customers enjoy free shipping on all orders. Visit Dohany's Pool Supplies today at doheny.com, DOHENY.com, to learn more. Broker Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.
Hey there.
Oh.
Too bright?
Yeah.
Is that too bright?
You look like a ghost.
All right, let's find a different angle. I don't want you to get vertigo here while I move around.
Actually, I just had vertigo.
Why don't we just do...
It's vertigon. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, leave the scooper there. Yeah, that'll do it.
You don't want to see the scooper. Hold on, let me get my water. Because, it's kind of hot out here today.
10:30 in Naples.
All right.
You're in the, what do you call that?
Yeah.
Thing?
Lake Forest South, baby.
No, what do you call the enclosed pool?
Did you wear the sunglasses here?
Oh yeah, there you go. Look like Ryan Poles.
No, I don't look like Ryan Poles, sir.
Speaking of the Bears, you see that lawsuit that just came out?
I saw you posted that. I had a chance to read it. What's the story there?
His name is Jonathon, and I reached out to him and his attorneys to get the scoop, but basically what he's saying is he's a member of a protected class or discriminated class, white Caucasian.
Well, you and I are part of that class, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, it depends what neighborhood you're from. In Lake Forest, it's not. If you're Pulaski and Armitage, yeah, you are.
That's a touchy subject.
That's why I touched it.
I don't know. I'm more concerned about the Bears winning a Super Bowl than I am about who's working in the back office, unless who's working in the back office can help them win the Super Bowl. But
Well,
that's just
it's a hard thing for the guy to prove. He's got to, show that he's qualified, and then the Bears have to prove that he really looked at it, because what he's saying is they looked at his LinkedIn profile and it's got a picture of a white guy and it's for a diversity job. I'm not saying
that's
I'll hit the
a red
alleged
flag
bell,
there.
but I'll hit the alleged bell again.
Just win the Super Bowl. Just win the Super Bowl. Don't worry about any of this other garbage. Just win the dang Super Bowl.
That's nice that you have that thought, Joe, but this is in the news, okay? And we try to keep,
I know.
current, and it's out there. But it's an interesting, if the far right wingers can, have at it.
Well, there just was that case, I think, that went to the Supreme Court of, I think it was an Asian student that sued, was it Harvard or one of those schools, saying he was discriminated against because Asians weren't part of the affirmative action or whatever you call it, quota system.
Well, and we just
got the Supreme Court ruled that he was right, and that threw out all the race-based admissions at colleges. So I don't know.
Well, then we just had International Women's Day, and look, I know there's a Men's Day in November, but why?
It's Super Bowl Sunday is Men's Day. Sorry.
Well, how about
women like the Super Bowl too? Let me be clear.
How about just, Good Person Day? Why do you got to identify?
Oh, you with the crazy ideas.
Well,
yeah,
it divides you. It's like, I've been in a corporate setting where
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is there racism in this country still? Yes. And is it wrong? Absolutely, it's wrong. Okay, I've seen it. We've all seen it. Is there sexism? Yes, there is, and it's wrong. Okay, I have a daughter. I want her to have as much opportunity in her career as my son. Okay, but to get into some of the affirmative action and quotas and this and that gets a little crazy, I think.
Well, you have to get rid of all that stuff, all of it. Best.
I mean, maybe it was needed 50 years ago, but I don't know.
Joe, I've been in a corporate setting where I've seen a woman CEO going through the hallways with a bullhorn announcing International Women's Day with a bunch of women trouncing behind them.
And what's the problem with that? Well, I want to work there.
I'm just saying, it's not best available person. And I think what it comes down to is it gets down to, you have the HR people who set a policy, and then you have the person that's actually doing the hiring. So HR can say whatever, but it comes down to, I don't want no white guy being the diversity guy.
I mean, look, the Democratic Party, who's the leader of their party right now? It's Joe Biden. He's about as white male as you're going to find, right? I mean,
well, they try to go so far because, like, there was a recent post. The NFL was doing internships for the NCAA, and they did a group picture. Okay, and the reason why I followed it is one of our Lake Forest College Forresters, who I follow, Jamari Tansmore, he's part of that program, and I follow him, and he's doing well. God bless America. But part of the LinkedIn picture that I see is it's all women, African American males, and no white guys.
Well, maybe that's who made the group. I don't know. I mean, look, I supported an Indian. I supported an Indian woman for president. Okay, so
she's Indian.
You didn't know that?
Nikki Haley's Indian.
Yeah, her parents immigrated from India.
Oh,
you didn't know that?
I would have wondered if she would have won a state or two. No, she did win a state. Okay.
She won.
Arizona.
Won Vermont. Come on. No, she won Vermont.
I thought she won
District of Columbia. I don't think she won. I don't think Arizona's voted yet. No, she won Vermont. because Vermont has a moderate Republican. Everybody says, "Oh, Vermont, Bernie Sanders." Well, Vermont has a Republican governor, a moderate Republican governor, like we used to have here in Illinois. And he endorsed Nikki Haley, and she won. That's how it's supposed to work. So you reach to the center and win general elections. But hey, I'll sit back and wait for the results this November. So,
well, we're talking about politics because it's an election year. And who is this governor of Illinois?
What? We don't have one now.
Who did you
we
just
had
reference? Who did you reference?
We used to have him. Thompson, Edgar.
Oh, how long ago was that?
Bruce Rauner. Bruce Rauner was got elected 10 years ago.
Didn't do nothing.
Because Mike Madigan blocked everything he wanted to do. And now look where Mike Madigan's headed to the slammer. So
is that allegedly or it's actually happening?
He's been indicted. So let him prove himself in it. If he is innocent, okay, me saying he's headed to the slammer is the least of his worries right now, because everyone's got him pegged as guilty.
Okay.
So I could do a whole show on Madigan. I spent a whole career researching him and stuff, but I won't bore you.
Well,
he's a bad guy.
We can't be afraid to call stuff out. You know, you can't discriminate anybody. Well,
that's a fair point. That, you know, if you're hiring someone because they're black or because they're a woman, is that just as wrong as hiring someone because they're white or because they're a man? That's the debate of this whole thing. But like I said, I still think, is there racism today? Absolutely. Is there sexism today? Absolutely. And they're both, and it's wrong. And like I said, I have a daughter and I want her to succeed as much as my son. And I want Black Americans,
fair chance. You want a fair chance for everybody
to have a fair chance. Yeah.
Cut this crap out. All right.
So I thought we were going to talk about the school district here. Gee, pivoting.
I'm sorry. Chicago Bears news.
This will make the Gazette, though. This is about 3 stories in the Gazette.
Hey, Brian, still here waiting. Hello.
Good things take time. Don't take the cake out of the oven till it's done.
Yeah, okay. Till they need content. All right. So we had a busy couple weeks. It's time to catch up. We had
a lot happening, man.
We had Vega, clerk of Lake County. We had Matt Montgomery.
Good guy. Now he's a Hispanic county clerk, right?
Yeah, we're almost neighbors.
That's not why he was elected. He was elected because he was the best guy.
He was further south.
That's right. You guys grew up together in Chicago.
You know, a couple of years apart, but you want to talk about racism. Let me go there. Take that Pulaski bus. You want to celebrate this Pulaski Day? Go take the Pulaski bus. Go celebrate that. Anyways.
Do you know when the first year that Casimir Pulaski Day was a holiday? It was like in the 80s. And I used to listen to Jonathon Brandmeier in the morning.
Yeah.
He started calling people live on the air. They used to do this stuff. I don't know if they still call people live on the air. Does anybody even listen to radio anymore? But he was calling people who out of the phone book. Remember phone books?
Yeah.
That lived on Pulaski Road in Chicago, asking them if they knew who Casimir Pulaski was. And not a single person knew.
I know he knows how to ride a horse because there's a statue of him.
He was if you read the history of him, he gave his life for America. He came here and helped us beat the Brits to become free. So, and look, we love our Polish community. Their Polish American community is bigger here than anywhere but Warsaw.
Did anybody tear that statue down?
I don't. Is there an actual statue of him? I don't know.
Yeah, there is. He's riding a horse.
They might have done it by mistake. Oh, they thought it was Columbus and they accidentally tore it down. I don't know.
Well, no. Didn't we have a period there in lawlessness in the 2020s?
Yeah, it was crazy. They tore down Abe Lincoln's statue somewhere. I'm like, what? Abe Lincoln? Nuts.
It was
nuts. They were losing their minds in 2020. Everyone was losing their minds.
Well, they're still losing their minds.
The 2020 was, when we look back on our lives, I think 2020 will be the worst year of our lives. That's
Eh,
my opinion. That's another Gazette story right there. It's like
freshman
worst
year in high
podcast
school for
host
anybody.
says 2020 will be the worst year of everyone's lives.
Or whenever Instagram came out. So
Well,
Susan,
social media is the devil's workshop.
that is correct. Well, comparison, accelerated comparison is what I call it. So Susan B. Anthony, her birthday came up. Did you see that quote that I put up there, Joe?
No, no, I've been
She,
enjoying Lake Forest South this week, so I
uh,
must have missed it. Sorry.
she basically said, and here I don't want to get it wrong, Joe, but because you brought up Abraham Lincoln, what was Abraham Lincoln known for?
Freeing the slaves,
Yeah,
winning the Civil War, being
right.
from Illinois.
Well, I mean, technically, the Democrats wanted a cheap labor source, right? So they,
And
so they,
like, no,
yeah,
with China.
yeah. So Susan B. Anthony, I shall work for the Republican Party and call on all women to join me precisely for what that party has done and promises to do for women, nothing more, nothing less.
And what year did she say that?
3 years ago, right before she got on the
Yeah, it's kind of hard to take any quotes. Look, I'm a Republican, okay? But
really,
my Republican friends often take quotes from people 100 years ago when the political parties were totally different than they are now. Like
like
the
how?
Democrats, well, the Democrats ruled the South and the Republicans ruled the North. It's like a total 180. Even if you go back to 1976 when Carter beat Ford, look at that electoral map, and it's almost a reverse of Trump versus Biden or Clinton. I mean, it's like there's a few exceptions, but there is the South went for Carter, the North went for Ford. I mean, it was like crazy. It was total reverse. Jimmy Carter won Texas in 1976. A
Well,
Democrat winning Texas today would be impossible.
the North had better
Like
infrastructure.
Jerry Ford won Illinois.
I
That's
guess what I'm saying
impossible
is that
today.
the North had better infrastructure and were more technologically advanced, and the South more relied on tobacco and all that crap. And
Well, I'll tell you what, the
what you
South has
get?
caught up to us on infrastructure because the roads are much better down here than they are in Chicagoland. I'll
Well,
tell you
you're in
that right now.
Florida. Florida, you take Florida out, go through Georgia a little bit.
I've driven through Georgia.
Okay.
I don't recall any problems other than traffic jam in Atlanta. When we were driving through Atlanta. That's the only problem I remember.
All right. So where do we go? We have Matt Montgomery, John Noble, and then we have PC.
Which is anything but PC.
So, and I'm bringing up Parents Care. I think everybody knows that I was with them for a period of time till, and Joe, you can kind of call me on being a hypocrite, but I've been for and against things quite a bit on this show. As
Yeah,
I
people are asking me, now that you had Montgomery on and doing a 180 with Parents Care, when does Prue come on the show and you start dissing Randy in the caucus? No, it's kidding.
I have, well, I have no other perspective on Prue.
John Trkla becomes your new guest.
Well,
Trkla, I love you, man. That meme. You could share that meme I gave you if you want.
this one,
Yeah.
he's got bad allergies. The guy's got bad allergies, but
Well,
where do we go?
used to say stuff about Montgomery, man.
I did till I had him come on, and you know what? He's not
Now
totally.
you're BFFs.
I wouldn't say that, but he did come
You're
on.
not hanging at the Lantern or or Ravinia Brewing,
Uh,
your
well,
new favorite bar.
what? Where
That's
do you
another
want me to
meme.
go first? Okay. Why do I
Sorry.
like Ravinia Brewing? Because somebody that could have been the mayor of Lake Forest is screwing a small businessman over, and
Yeah.
I stand up to protect small business.
Well, there definitely is a Lake Forest connection to that story with Prue being such a big
Yeah.
donor to Nancy Rotering and Nancy Rotering tweeting when Prue got sworn in. I don't think we ever talked about it, but you can show that tweet of Nancy Rotering tweeting when Prue got sworn in as alderman, what was it, 10 years ago or whatever, saying it's a historic day in Lake Forest. seeing Prue Beidler being sworn in. And I'm like, was she the first woman alderman? No, she was not. So what was historic? Oh, she was the first Democrat that gave you money being sworn in as an alderman in Lake Forest. Okay. That's the only thing I can correlate is it's the first person that kissed up to the Democratic Party being sworn in as an alderman in Lake Forest.
Okay.
Hopefully the last.
So trying to help out Jeff Hubler. And you also have something that you're seeing a city council that's kind of fractured in a deadlock. And this is what can happen if you don't vote, if you don't pay attention to your vote. So that helping a small businessman and then paying attention to your vote. So getting back to Parents Care and Matt Montgomery, taking all this stuff in, Parents Care, I was with them till I got the perception of them based on their actions that they are finger pointers that offer no solutions. And the cherry on top of the sundae is Frank McCormick, and he puts out those social media posts that are just, what do you want to call it? There's no alleged. It's there. It's trying to build up angst and
it's kind of, I mean, look,
grooming and
grooming seems to be a buzzword with not just Parents Care, but like a lot of these conservative groups. And within Parents Care, there are different guys there, and I think different viewpoints on certain things. Like I think Philippe and Jeff are moderates, kind of like me. I know Philippe worked for Bob Dole, and Jeff worked for Governor Rauner. So, and I don't know Frank. I don't know Frank at all. I mean, I met him, I think, once. And
what do you have to know? Read. You've read his.
Yeah, I mean, look, he says stuff that I certainly wouldn't say. Right?
Like what?
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to be specific.
Where do I start, man? I want me to put my reading glasses on and start reading?
Well, no, but I mean, what I'm saying is,
what's that Twitter account that we found that is his, it's not his name, but it is him?
Chalkboard Heresy or something like that. And
yeah,
that's what's attached to Parents Care. You have somebody that's putting, we say mean social media, not mean, but just ignorant. If I'm calling it ignorant, it's got to be ignorant because I'm ignorant.
I mean, look, I will be the first to defend anyone's right to speak their opinion, no matter how unpopular it is. Okay. Because I don't believe in censoring people or anything like that. That said, look, if you're going to win elections in Lake Forest, you can be fiscally conservative, and you should be fiscally conservative, but you start diving into some of these social issues like he's done. That's not the mainstream view here in Lake Forest.
But Philippe and Jeff,
look, he's entitled to his opinion. I mean, I respect that.
Yeah, but Jeff and Philippe picked him to be the front man of it. That's stupid.
Well, politics is about forming alliances. Look, like I said, I come from the moderate mainstream wing, whatever you want to call it. But the truth is, Pete, that in any election, whether it's, partisan ones or nonpartisan ones, you cannot win with just your base, but you also can't win without your base. So I've seen candidates go too far in the Republican side, go too far to the left. And I've even seen on the Democratic side a couple of times, like Glenn Pichard back in 1998, go too far to the right and you need to keep it's a delicate dance that you need to appeal to swing voters, but you can't lose your base. And that's becoming a tougher act because politics is becoming more polarized. It used to be.
You got to narrow it down, Joe, because there's nothing there I can hang on to. My beef with Parents Care is there's no solutions and there are only complaints. And their headlines include grooming and all that other stuff when it should be, and this is getting on Matt Montgomery in the schools, which I had a problem with, they drag their heels on releasing information. That's legit. I've seen that.
Well, and that's what, my take is, I'm glad you said that because I don't think there's any clean hands on the school district side either. I mean, do they condone grooming? I mean, grooming, my God, has become this buzzword and this code word and stuff. And when I was growing up, grooming meant you combed your hair and showered every day before you went to school. So we did encourage good grooming back then, but grooming has taken on a different meaning now. And it's, and that whole thing with that teacher at Deer Path that was grooming kids at Evanston. I mean, it was disgusting. Yeah. And it would disgust any parent. Is the district condoning that? I don't think they're condoning that. It's just, do they have the mechanisms in place to prevent that going forward? They dealt with it as quickly as I think they could. I mean, I asked Matt last week the difference in time between when you first knew and when you finally got him out of the classroom. And his explanation was we needed more proof. Because we get rumors all the time.
No, it was
and
to get
we needed
facts.
to make sure this wasn't just a rumor, but get facts. Correct. So I don't know. I mean, that's going to be the debate on that one. But the only takeaway I had, and I tried to ask them that this last week on the show when we were limited in time, but was, do you have systems in place to prevent another one of these? Is there someone else sitting in the ranks of the teaching staff
He answered
that is doing this now, and we don't know, because the background, the pass the trash law is only going forward. You can't go backward and look at the staff you already hired. That to me is a big hole in this process that needs to be addressed. And it's more than just Lake Forest. It's a state issue. And I'm still concerned that this is only a state law and not a national thing. So somebody could look, how close are we to Wisconsin, right? Somebody could have done this in Wisconsin and then jump over the border and get a job here in Illinois, and they wouldn't be detected, right? So
I see that.
I'm a little concerned on that.
Well, we brought it up, and I also brought it up because I was talking over myself, if it's possible, was, would the unions want that or not? Because you'd have everybody in an uproar. I don't want anybody looking at my past actions. Well, why wouldn't you? So teachers union here, parents care. Shouldn't they say something like, hey, Matt Montgomery, John Noble, you should have done this different. I miss that. What should they have? They're pissed because of the timing of the communications. Like as soon as they heard about it, they should have said something. Well,
they're saying, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, though. As I said last week to Matt and John Noble, why am I finding out about this from an outside group instead of from you?
Because the outside group can put out a rumor, and when you're a member of an administration, you can't. You have to get the facts before you can go out. If you're an outside, my take is, and I'm not trying to defend Matt, I'm just trying to, put parameters up. An outside organization that hears something that's going on can go out there and make a notice of it, versus the administration has to get the facts before they can put it out there. So the third party will always be the one that's putting something out on a rumor, right?
Well, and if what Montgomery's explanation on our show is correct, then yes, they did do it right. I am sure if you had Jeff and Philippe or Frank back on, they would, contradict that. And I don't know what happened. Are we ever going to know what happened? Because it's always going to be one side saying one thing, and another side saying another thing. And my experience with that, Pete, is when two sides say the exact opposite thing, the truth probably lies somewhere in between.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah. And the reason why I disconnected from Parents Care is they have shown me not wanting to take action unless it's attention, because I gave them the opportunity to talk to Matt Montgomery, and they chose not to, because Matt Montgomery didn't know they were going to be on the show. And Matt will never talk to
I wasn't on the show, so I don't know.
I know. So to me, that's inaction and conflict avoidance.
That would have been a crazy. How do you think, though? Look, how do you think that would have played out in reality if you had Montgomery on and Noble as a guest, like you did a few months ago?
Then I would have read
parents carrying. I mean, Montgomery probably would have hit click on the leave button on Zoom, and the show would have been over.
Right, and that would tell a lot.
I don't know. I can see it, that's awkward, but hey, man, that's your take, and that's fine.
Hey,
I mean,
I'm here for action and solutions. So they don't want to talk and they want to put this stuff out because you have.
Do you think I don't think Montgomery wants to talk. I think both sides in this want to have their own stream of information. Okay.
Yeah.
There's never going to be
Positive and
a
negative.
Matt Montgomery parents care debate because neither side wants that. That's how this plays out, right? So I don't know.
There's only so many.
Meanwhile, these guys raise my taxes. That's all I'm really thinking about is my taxes are going to go up a boatload, and so are yours.
Well, you get all the Bob the Builder videos that are out
because of 100 lousy votes.
Yeah, because we didn't get off our ass earlier. There
should have been. Fault. Look, it's your fault. You had Montgomery on.
Well,
no, you should have had Montgomery. You should have had both sides on as you did. That was good. Okay. And look, we kept telling Prue Beidler that the reason the referendum won and you lost was because Matt came on the podcast and Prue did not. So,
Randy,
both sides came on, on the referendum and his prevailed by a very narrow margin. I also, again, I was very, very new to town back then, and I didn't know if there was going to be an organized campaign against the referendum. It turns out there really wasn't. Having worked in politics most of my adult life, in one way or another, I could have organized a vote no campaign.
Your fault. You cost me $1,000.
Quite certain I would have done. Where's Dick Uihlein? No, his taxes are going to go up more than anyone else. He could have kicked in a couple bucks to get the word out that this tax hike was coming, but hey, I don't know.
Well, Trump will fix everything.
Okay. Good luck with that.
So somebody that's incented to put positive information out, and you have somebody that's incented to put negative information out. And unfortunately, our brains are wired to go to the negative information first. And that's what we got here.
If it bleeds, it leads. Right?
Well, our
controversy sells.
Our brains are wired to look for the lion in the jungle chasing us. So,
but what are your most watched podcasts, Pete? Controversial ones, right? When you profile, when you and Scoo did the very nice positive profiles of little stuff happening in town, you had what, 200 viewers?
First of all, I mean, who knows what the viewers are, dude? It's whatever,
right, but I'm just
whatever
saying,
tags, keywords you put in there.
I'm telling you, when the data is clearly there that when you do a more controversial topic, the view count goes up. So people want to see that. Everyone says, "Oh, I want positive." I learned this from campaigning. Everybody says, "Oh, please, I don't want any more negative campaigning. I want a positive."
They do. They're wired that way.
Negative. The reason negative campaigning continues to exist is because it works. Okay, it works.
And our brains are wired to look at negative information.
So everyone says they want positive campaigns, but getting
back to your point, Joe, it's not about controversy as it's about what people are talking about. And if people are passionate about it, okay, controversy, something that's going on, they want to hear about it. And kind of what this podcast also is, again, look, Highland Park, they're trying to get somebody that's an alderman or a council person off of the council because they own a liquor license. In the old days, Joe, because you're a political savant, where was all the legislating done? In the public house, right? Is that right? That's where public house came from. People came together.
True. A lot of towns, a lot of cities, their first city hall was the local tavern.
Right. So that's kind of what we are. We're the public house podcast. This is the stuff that's coming up. Oh, it was a boring, crappy podcast. Well, ain't nothing going on, especially with Randy Tack as mayor. I got to go to Highland Park now because the city council meetings are like 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, his quote when he was on the show when he was a candidate is very true. He said, "Good municipal government is boring," and he's your guy.
Yeah,
because he's boring. I mean, it's true. There's no drama at the city. I mean, you used to have some drama there when you had poor George Pandalean must be very jealous of Randy because you had Melanie Rummel,
Ray,
what was his last name?
Bush League,
Ray Bushman, and who was the third one? Karis, Jennifer Karis. So I mean, those meetings were crazy.
But I mean,
now it's all like they're done. I told you the story. I was having dinner in one of the restaurants. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go check out the city council meeting. It was like 6:50 and they were done.
You can't be late with Randy. You can't.
Look, and that's why he won, and that's why he should be reelected because everything's boring. Because they're doing their job. They're no drama. They come to work. They do their job. The staff does their job. I mean, and we have the lowest municipal tax rate of any municipality in Lake County.
All right, put your pom-poms down. Let's talk about Anthony Vega. What a good guy. Dude. What a good dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't dodge anything. Safety Act. What was your
he hit a home run. That's how you do an interview. That's how you do an interview. He answered every question. He gave you his 2 cents. I mean, he even straight away, he didn't do the stay in my lane thing, saying, hey, I'm just the county clerk. When you started asking about the Safety Act to him, he didn't dodge that either. Now, he has experience because he worked for the sheriff's office beforehand. So, but I give credit. That is exactly, and look, he is a Democrat. I'm a Republican, but we had a great show and we talked things out. And that's the way it should be. That I respect that. It's just like when we had Holly Kim on.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, we just want to understand it because you got stuff from either side. And like you said, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And like you said, now I'm starting to remember it. They tried to force that thing in a very short amount of time, right? It's like, here you go. You got to read this and then vote on it.
Oh, the Safety Act. Well, that's classic Springfield. They always do that with bills they give them to the rank and file like 2 hours before they vote, if even that sometimes. And then they're told and the Safety Act, I believe, was passed when Madigan was still the Speaker of the House. So, Madigan had all sorts of tricks up his sleeve. So he probably threatened people if they didn't vote for this, which was kind of surprising because years ago, Madigan was a friend of the police department, but I think he sold himself out. But, any legislation that gets introduced in the middle of the night is bad legislation.
Yeah.
But that's how Springfield rolls.
So once you hear what's actually happening, and it's like you kind of bring the anxiety down a little bit, right? Like when the votes come in late. Oh, Pete, you're so naive. You know that stuff's going on. Blah, 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 blah. The dude didn't know where the washrooms were. How's he going to fix an election?
Yeah. I mean, look, I tell my Republican friends that we're getting our butts kicked fair and square now. All right. Maybe in 1960, they stole the election for Kennedy in Illinois. I don't know. But we're losing Cook County. I mean, we're not in Cook County, we're in Lake County, but the Republicans, when I was, 30 years ago, there would be an occasional Republican winning Cook County and the other races would be competitive. Now it's like 80% Democrat, 20% Republican. And even like Kim Foxx, horrible Kim Foxx, she gets reelected. She does 20 points worse than all the other Democrats on the ticket, yet she still wins in a landslide. So they're not stealing elections. We're getting our butts kicked fair and square because a combination of things, I think, again, the Trump factor, but also the parties moved too far to the right. And also there's been some demographic changes in Cook County and in Illinois. But I don't think elections, first of all, I don't know of any really, really close elections. and except for the state's attorney's race last time, that was pretty close, only 2 or 3 points. And Neerheim, who was the Republican state's attorney, never uttered a single conspiracy theory. He conceded to Reinhardt, and gave the truth. He said, "Hey, look, I lost. Congratulations," and that was it. Hopefully, we can change that by getting Mary Cole elected this time, because we've seen what a disaster Reinhardt has been. But that's another show. But yeah, they're not stealing elections. That's nonsense. We're losing them. I mean, maybe the only thing I can say is sometimes the coverage by the media and social media and stuff is biased. So maybe that's, that your side isn't getting played as well as the other side. But look, same day that Donald Trump lost Illinois by 18 points, Pritzker had this big tax hike referendum that he put $50 million down to campaign for, and it lost by 10 points. So if they were going to fix an election, don't you think it would have been this big tax hike with Big Pritzker?
Hold on, Joe.
On it?
Joe, you're
JB Pritzker. Excuse me.
You're the again, the political savant. When Trump won, it was like Hillary was doing great. Then all of a sudden, wham, Trump. Isn't that how that?
So then they said that one was fixed, right?
Right.
Or the Russians fixed it, or right.
Well, the Russians paid for advertising on Facebook, but political advertising has been going on forever.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal is, look, Trump won by the very narrowest of margins in those swing states in 2016. He lost in 2020 in those swing states by the very narrowest of margins, right? You take Wisconsin and Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, all that stuff. And I think if you add it up, less than 200,000 people are deciding who the president of the United States is in the last 2 elections. Because, Illinois is a given for the blue side. Texas is a given for the red side. I mean, so it comes down to like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan and other swing states. And the margins are tight. So, I mean, and at this point, who hasn't formed an opinion on Trump or Biden? So it's just going to be who turns out more of their voters is who's going to win at this. I mean, and the economy is going to play into that. I digress. But Vega, back to Vega. Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's not stealing elections for anyone. So if Mary Cole loses this fall, it will be because Mary Cole got less votes than Eric Reinhardt. Okay, I have full confidence in the Lake County clerk to run a fair election.
Well, Democrats have a better system in Illinois. That's all, unfortunately.
Well, the Republicans hand them a lot of victories. I mean, like I said, you win elections by moving to the center, and we used to do that, and now we seem to want to score points on Fox News and Tucker Carlson. And
you sent me that. I was looking at my phone. You sent me that 60 Minutes, which I watched. You want to talk about that a little bit? I thought that was pretty interesting.
So they did a story about book banning in South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah.
South Carolina. Okay. So, and the school boards there and how they dealt with it. And it's kind of sick. Look, and there's nobody trying to ban books here. Okay. So I don't want to insinuate that Parents Care is banning books. They've never gone there. I don't think. I know Parents Care hasn't. Now with Frank and his Twitter history, who knows, but that's Frank.
Oh, all those guys have put that stuff out on the books, which rightly or wrongly.
I don't know if Philippe and Jeff have. I think Philippe and Jeff are smarter than that person, but they're moderates.
I hear a lot
of moderates.
I hear a lot of deleting.
They're moderates. Okay. So
Jeff is a hidden Democrat. Everybody knows that.
Well, that would make him a moderate then. Okay. So, but I mean, people now think I'm a Democrat. What the hell? But yeah, they did this piece about book banning there, and it went into this whole thing about Moms for Liberty and their agenda. And the reporter asked him, why are you guys so obsessed with grooming? That's the buzzword, this grooming buzzword. And they, I immediately went back to this whole Parents Care thing. It's that's the magic word in conservative circles to get people fired up now, which again, yeah, there was a teacher grooming that in Evanston that then got hired by Lake Forest, but I hope there's no more. And there was that drama teacher years ago doing all sorts of horrible stuff.
Not years, decades.
Decades. But my point is, I still, as long as they have systems in place, and like I said, I wish they could go back and look at everybody that's on the payroll now, just and screen them the way they're screening new hires, just to make sure. It would give parents like me
That's a legit
extra sense of
question. We should
caution.
find out if that's possible to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you found out or I found out that a teacher was doing something to your kid or my kid, the least of their worries would be dealing with Matt Montgomery or even the cops, right? I mean, I know you well enough. What you're gonna take matters into your own hands as well. You should. I mean, that's right? I mean, and that parents have a right to be outraged of when if anything happens. So, but they're playing on that, and is it taken out of proportion? I don't think it is, but again, the school district's not doing they could do a better job handling this. And that email that Montgomery sent, he should have not had that last paragraph.
I was waiting.
That was the dumbest move. And by the way, and his own school board president told him not to do it. Now, where I come from, that's insubordination and you get fired.
I was waiting for that.
Insubordination. If the board president says don't put it in and you put it in, that's how we rolled when I was on the school board. We went through 4 superintendents in the 8 years I was on there.
Didn't you ask how many non-7-0 votes did you have? Like, I wonder what the vote would be on that word. Should the school board have voted on that, putting that in?
They were under a time crunch, so you can't vote because you'd have to have the Open Meetings Act and public notice and stuff like that. I would assume he polled the board, that Noble polled the rest of his board members, because there's the public meeting, but then there's always side conversations, right? So I'm assuming he polled them. So maybe Noble was in the minority, but then that 7-0, that maybe that's when there's not a 7-0. I don't know. Maybe Noble got outvoted by his board to go ahead and say it. It was just, but the rest of the email and that paragraph,
stupid,
were like
stupid,
written by 2 different people. It was as if a lot of people spent a lot of time crafting the.
It's like if I wrote it.
First part of the message, and then let's throw in this thing about parents' care, which was dumb. And I've talked to a lot of people in town who are not parents' care supporters, but have said, what the hell was Montgomery thinking putting that in? And they were also, they felt he was very, very defensive in the interview with us and calling them an opposition group. And he's doubling down. He didn't back away from it in the interview. He's doubling down. And again, that's to me, opposition group is something like, people storming the Capitol on January 6th or trying to stage a coup in a third world country.
But Joe, where
to label them an opposition group was just a really stupid thing to do, inappropriate thing to do. And like I said, his own board president said, don't do it.
Okay. Insubordination. I get it. And we were on a time crunch, so we couldn't get more into it, but I think that's where Matt and the school runs into problems is you could address this a lot earlier, like on the FOIA stuff. Don't give all these delays. Just give us the information. And we look at it and it's a nothing burger. When you slow it down, then you give me the perception that you're hiding something, and I don't trust you, like Prue and Susan Garrett and Nancy Rotering and Julie Morrison, the 4 amigas.
They'd be hassling Duffers as much as Rotering's hassling Ravinia Brewing Company right now.
Oh man. So it's even if I wouldn't send that email, if I know not to send that email, something else has got to be. Matt's not dumb. Unless he's like,
he's got a PhD.
Unless I'm unless he's like, you know what? I'm out of here.
I mean,
Screw you
we all
all.
we all thought that he's a guy that just gets hired to pass a referendum and leaves. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what's actually going to happen. I don't know.
He's like, you know what?
Just don't give him severance pay. That's all I ask, because I have a very strong
You
uh
know,
opposition to tax dollars being used for severance
yeah,
pay.
yeah. And John, thanks, man. You want to say thanks to John Noble for that?
I just
Whatever.
Wow. When I heard him say, "No, I told Matt not to do that," I'm like, "What?" And he's still there? You didn't fire him?
You know what I heard and saw is the old principal at Lake Forest High School is over at Highland Park now. Did you see that?
No.
Chalib,
Which the
how
high school? Oh, I don't. Doing
Chalib,
what? Principal at Highland Park High
I
School now?
believe so. You didn't hear any of that? All right, I have to.
No,
We'll
I
dig. We'll
don't.
dig.
You
We'll dig
know,
a little bit more.
Pete, I get all my Highland Park news from you. So you're my
Well, there's a
Highland
lake
Park news source.
when there's a Lake Forest component to it, which it is.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
What are the people that you're talking to? What are they saying about parents' care and Matt allegedly?
I think they want both to go away.
Well,
I mean, like I said, that there's when you have two diametrically opposed things,
yeah,
I think most people are in the middle. And it's like, so I think, look, I appreciate that parents care brought to light some of the crazy spending that we talked about on our show
yeah.
with them. Okay. And that you can't play Etch a Sketch. That doesn't just go away. That's still there. And I'd like to hear how much Matt Montgomery thinks those videos actually cost. Cause again, we were crunched on time. He
40,000
disputed you on the amount. So I'd love to hear
was
what
more.
he thinks, what he says it actually cost. Because are they that's propaganda at this point. You're not even trying to pass a referendum. You're just trying to get your school board reelected at that point, because they're on the hot seat for raising taxes more than they should have.
Well,
They could have done all the work they needed and not raise the taxes this high this fast. But people will be screaming in April when they get their tax bill. Screaming.
well, I could be a hypocrite again because I was giving Matt so much crap earlier because he would never come on the show, and then when he finally did, it was to help him pass a damn referendum, and that's when this squirrel button.
But you have been cordial to every single guest you've ever had on the show, even when you don't agree with them. So the idea of somebody not coming on the show to me because they don't is a dumb thing. Like I
Well,
said, have parents care back. Let them try and
Pete,
give their excuse to you. I don't know. Maybe
show me
maybe
that
I'm
they
missing
do.
something.
Well, show me that they're going to do something. Like what's
Well, that's a common theme I hear is a lot of people are like, what's the end game for parents'
yeah,
care? Is it to get school board members elected in 2025?
fine, and be
What
honest
is
about
it?
it. Yeah,
Is it
be
to make
honest.
money? I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know what the end game is. I was disappointed that they didn't run an active campaign against the property tax hike referendum, because I think if somebody had, it would have gone down.
yeah. So, look, I hate staying in one place. I go forward. There's no reverse. Go forward. And when people are just stuck in place and just want to keep, doing this, that's a waste of time. I want to, there's so many things going
Because
on.
you hate what's your famous phrase you use every week? I hate offering
I'll,
I hate
I'll
saying
do
problems
anything but
without.
nothing. I hate off.
No, 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 no.
Oh, I hate pointing the fingers without offering a solution.
There
So,
you go.
so that's to me. And when there was an opportunity where both sides could come together, like who was it that brought Sadat? I'm butchering the name. Was it Jimmy Carter? Brought
Yeah,
the
well, that didn't work out too well.
well,
Sadat got assassinated.
it's
Carter
it's
lost.
it's almost like, you know what? Let's bring both
The
these to
Palestinian Authority started killing Israelis, so that
what
didn't that peace accord didn't work out too well.
what's that camp they go to?
Camp David.
Camp David. Let's go
Yeah,
to Camp David or Camp Duffers,
Camp Duffers would be
or
much
Camp
more
Chief and Lantern,
refreshing.
and we go in and then like a public house, hash this stuff out. Just don't stew. And these 40,000 infomercials about Bob the Builder. Come on. Hey, Joe, they're not 40,000, they're 45,000.
What is the amount, Dr. Montgomery?
I think
email Pete with the amount because we know you're watching.
All right, because we didn't have time. I'm going to bring this up, and then Matt, you can slam me later. I'm good for it. But
come back next week.
You got Steve Douglas, who everybody's promoting, Vince Vaughn and the special media unit or whatever they call that thing. Why don't you just use what your in-house stuff? Why are we spending all this money when we have this great new media source?
Well, especially since it'd be a good vocational practice for the students, right? We had on the young man, I can't remember his name now, who's now at Nebraska.
Connor Clark, yeah.
Connor Clark. So Connor came out of that new media stuff, didn't he?
So what is the thing behind spending whatever the amount is? You didn't have to spend it. Hey, Steve, go around with the freaking GoPro and do the video.
But why do you need to make a video justifying something unless you're on the defense? Are they that's a common theme I have heard from people this past week is they feel that parents care and other people have gotten under Matt Montgomery's skin, that he's become so defensive about it that he does that last paragraph in the email. He puts out videos explaining the tax hike. Why are you so defensive?
So are we tacking a guy after he's been on the show? Joe, is that what we're doing?
Just doing post-mortem. He can come back. I mean, like I said, if we had more time to talk, I would have asked those questions, but we were under time crunch. It was partially my fault. I had a meeting too, but and they had to be done quickly because they didn't want to be late for their interview with NPR Lake Forest with the NPR Lake Forest show that is recorded in Lake Bluff.
Is that where they do it?
Yeah.
Did you
I have it on very reliable source.
Did you see Matt Montgomery had the little
because I'm in Florida right now, so I should talk, right?
Did you see Matt Montgomery had the little makeup thing?
I did not, but that's why their podcast is audio only.
Yeah.
They should go video because it's really I've literally fallen asleep listening to their podcast. Maybe if they had some video, it would be more interesting.
I just can't get over the sniffing. So look, all right, just like the public house, okay? You go to a bar, you talk shit. Okay? You do. You hear stuff, could be true, could not be true, but we talk about it. Hey, you're full of crap. No, you're full of crap. You know, your mom is so fat.
Well, that's after it gets worse after each round of drinks, right?
No, it gets better.
It gets better.
So that's what's going on in town. And look, anybody that comes on, hey, you got stones to come on. And if you're going to come on, do something, take action, quit complaining, offer a solution.
Don't just point fingers.
And then Philippe and Jeff, look, man, you guys are smart guys. Why you got Frank? That's your lead horse on this thing? Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, what's that phrase I often use? Don't hate the player, hate the game. I just look, I don't know the guy. I
you
just
don't know the guy.
I know, but I know what works in Lake Forest and what doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you start posting all of the social issue stuff,
so call
like
them
that
out
on
Don't
social media, I just did.
Oh, okay.
I just said
that's your way of doing it. All right.
when you do that, you're not in the mainstream of the community you're trying to appeal to. Yeah. That stuff may work in Alabama or Southern Illinois or I don't know about Naples, but Naples is pretty conservative though. Actually, I see a lot of Trump signs,
Trump flags,
but because everybody's moved from Illinois and New York, in Massachusetts down here that was conservative, but that's like I said, if you're a group that's trying to operate in Lake Forest, you need to be aligned with how Lake Forest stands. And Lake Forest is a fiscally conservative community, but it is not a socially conservative community. That's not to say being a social conservative is wrong, but if you want to win and get half of what you want to see come to life, you have to accept the reality that that's how Lake Forest rolls.
And if you want credibility, you need a better lead horse. That's all. Right? So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I if they've got info that we're missing, let me know.
Yeah.
Let us know. I don't mind having. I'm never afraid to talk to somebody, Pete. I'll talk to anyone. I'll talk to Prue. All right.
I'll talk to
anyone.
I'll talk to anybody that is willing to move things forward, not stay in one place. And until I see different evidence, that PC group, they can go with, you know what? They should hook up with the Lake Bluff podcast, the liberal podcast. They should be in cahoots. If they were smart, they would change the name. Hey, there you go. There's a URL that's available, the Lake Bluff podcast. Go ahead, guys.
Well, Lake Bluff tends to vote more Democrat than Lake Forest.
Well, they are on the bluff.
All right, a French socialist mayor.
So, well, let me tell you about the French. They just love Americans.
Oh gosh, yeah, I've been to France, and it's not. Ugh,
you know, it's worse than
beautiful
France.
Scenery, and then the people are just so rude.
Well, you think the French are rude? Go see the Italians. We just pissed off everybody.
Yeah, but you know what? In Italy, it's not the same. It's not the same, man. I've been to Italy and to France, and France.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for us, they'd be speaking German in France right now. Okay, I mean, we bailed them out of World War II, and they showed no. We've all got stories of them being rude to American tourists and stuff. It's just
they are rude.
Man, we're here to spend money in your country, and you're ungrateful.
Tourism. Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't for American tourism in France, the country would go broke.
And the Eiffel Tower, the gypsies, I mean, that's going to be downtown Lake Forest. You see some of the people sleeping on the bench? Oh, don't get me going. The show's over, but.
Yeah. There's signs outside that say beware of the pickpockets, and they had to put them in French and English. They won't put any other signs in English, but they put that one up. It says beware of the pickpockets.
Little PSA if you're traveling overseas and somebody says, "Hey, you dropped the ring," don't take it.
Yeah, those guys on the street.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've seen it happen to other people. I saw it happen, and I whisked my wife and kids away really fast, right in front of the Louvre.
Yeah. So let's see. We just pissed off the gypsies who are Romanian, so we pissed all the Romanians off. Anybody else? Controversy.
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day is coming up, so you want to take on the Irish? No, it's kidding.
Well, I'll tell you what. On that note,
I wore green.
Joe, I know you're out of town, but this Friday, Heart of Glass will be playing in Lombard at Humo's Smokehouse, the old Brower House.
Sounds like a good time.
We're not the opener anymore. We're the second of the third act. We are moving up. We're moving
like the Jeffersons.
And you know what else we're playing? Pierogi Fest in Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been there?
No, but
300,000 people. How can we play pierogi
in Indiana?
In Indiana. How is it that my band can play Indiana and it can't play Lake Forest? I'm just a good craft.
I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to get you at Duffers or Gorton or
August
that summer.
We're getting booked up,
concert.
man. We are booked. I'm putting the shows right here. We are lined up, baby.
When are you playing at Highland Park at the Ravinia Brewing Company? Maybe?
We're playing there. Have you been to Ravinia Brewing Company?
I will soon for the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Newcomers Men's Social Night Out.
Okay, well, I think that's all that will fit in there.
Oh, okay. Can you do an outdoor show or
on the sidewalk? Don't they have a patio
sidewalk?
Yeah.
Don't they have a street festival in the summer?
I believe so.
There you go. That's your entry.
Oh,
there.
we'll be playing Mickey Finn's in July, so you can see Libertyville. There we go. All right, Joe. Great job pissing everybody off. I was the Matt Montgomery of the podcast. You were the Philippe of the podcast.
Oh no, I was the Joe Weiss of the podcast. I'm my own person. Nobody owns me. But
all right.
hey, I got a quick Naples
yeah.
story. I have to tell you. So the self checkout lines at Costco?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, the Costco in Mattawa that should have been in Lake Forest. Thanks, Mike Rummel. The one here in Naples, because the customer base is so elderly, that the self-checkout lines, they have to have an employee at each of the 6 self-checkout lines scanning stuff to keep the line moving. Because my son and I went there on Saturday to get some stuff, and we went to the self-checkout line, and there's a woman scanning everything for everyone. And then I look, and there's employees at all 6 scanning, because he and I brought the average age down like 20 years when we walked in. That's Naples.
Have everything delivered. Don't go into. Do not go into any store at all, if possible. Joe Weiss, another mediocre episode of the Lake Forest podcast.
Show about nothing.
Show about exactly. Bye.
Seinfeld.
The Lake Forest podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Looking for the best pool supplies? Look no further than Dohany's Pool Supplies. With a history dating back to 1967, this family-owned business offers everything families need to keep their pools clean and sparkling, from chemicals to equipment. Plus, customers enjoy free shipping on all orders. Visit Dohany's Pool Supplies today at doheny.com, DOHENY.com, to learn more. Broker Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services, plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.